いや、もうダメだ。
どうしたの？
彼女と喧嘩したんだ。まだ怒ってるみたい。
じゃあ花でもプレゼントしたらどう？
そうだね、そうしよ
彼女きっと喜ぶよ。
う。わかった。じゃあそうしてみるよ。
飲みすぎたのはあなたのせいよ。弱い女の愛しさを。Oh, hello and welcome to Learn Japanese Pod, the podcast that helps you to speak and sing badly, Japanese more naturally and fluently. You can find all our podcasts at learnjapanesepod.com and all the major podcast apps out there. But actually, there is one app you should download, and that's the Learn Japanese Pod app. And you can listen to all our podcasts, download our show notes, get it all in one easy to use place. And also, you can check out our self-study online Japanese course at dojo.learnjapanesepod.com. That's dojo.learnjapanesepod.com. And for those of you who want to study Japanese in a more focused and an organized way, those online courses should be what you need. But anyway, on with today's show. As always, I am joined by our very own Nihongo no sensei, which is Ami Sensei. How's it going?
こんにちは。Hi, good, good, good.
こんにちは。
How are you?
飲みすぎたのは
アレックスのせいよ。
すみません。ごめんなさい。Sorry, I've got to apologize. Recently, my Japanese friends and I have been going on this YouTube rabbit hole of ancient J-pop. I think it was...
That's my jam too.
Yeah, right? And so I have been learning about, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s Japanese pop. And that one was Hiroshi Miyuki sung horribly by me. And some of it's really, really good. The other one was it Matsuri Mambo? You know that one?
Oh, wasshui.
Yeah. 私の隣のおじさんは神田の生まれてチャキチャキ江戸っ子。
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've been getting like super old school. And
Nice.
The other thing recently I've noticed is the wonderful, fantastic nerds of the interwebs have been putting together J-Wave mixes, which I think is easy listening J-pop mixes on YouTube. So sometimes I'll put that on in the background while I'm
Nice.
doing Learn Japanese Pod work. Anyway, don't let me digress. Ami Sensei, what's happening in today's podcast?
All right. In today's main podcast lesson, we're going to teach you how to make a suggestion in Japanese. We'll teach you some very commonly used phrases for naturally and politely offering your recommendations and ideas to help your friends. After that, we'll go off script and have a simple conversation in Japanese so you can practice your listening skills. Then we'll teach you the random phrase of the week, which is a funny or interesting phrase you don't usually see in your textbooks. And that's it.
Woohoo! Thanks so much, Ami Sensei. So, without further ado, let's just go straight to today's main lesson.
Okay.
Have another listen to the main dialogue again that you heard at the beginning of the show, and we'll break that down for you and then give some more grammar examples that you can use for your own conversations. Check it out.
いや、もうダメだ。
どうしたの？
彼女と喧嘩したんだ。まだ怒ってるみたい。
じゃあ花でもプレゼントしたらどう？
そうだね、そうしよ
彼女きっと喜ぶよ。
う。わかった。じゃあそうしてみるよ。
Okay, so did you understand that? Ami Sensei, let's break down the conversation. So the first sentence was, what was that?
いや、もうダメだ。So, it's a funny one. So, いや is like, no, or, well, it's,
Yeah.
it's usually at the beginning of a sentence when, you're trying to say something that you're either, worried about or sad about or, unsure of, like, いやもうダメだ. So, もうダメだ. もう is like, already, and then ダメだ is not good or, yeah, ダメ. Basically, not good.
Everything's terrible. It's
Yeah.
no good.
It's no good.
It's no good. And then what was the next question?
どうしたの?
Now that's a really, really useful phrase. どうしたの? That just means, what's the matter?
Mhm.
So that's pretty
どうした
easy.
の?
Yeah, どうしたの? Then what was the problem?
The problem was 彼女と喧嘩したんだ。まだ怒ってるみたい。Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That's not good.
That ain't
So,
good.
that ain't good. So, 彼女 is girlfriend と with 喧嘩. So, 喧嘩 is like argument or fight. したんだ did or had. So, I had an argument with my girlfriend.
Let me do a quick deep dive on the grammar there. So, as Ami Sensei said, kenka means fight. And then shitanda is a really natural way to say that you did something. So that's the past tense. Suru means do. Shita means did or have done. And if you said this in the most polite way, it would be shita no desu. So kenka shita no desu. But most Japanese people make that much shorter. Instead of saying shita no desu, they say shitanda. So kenka shitanda. This is something that took me ages to get. Actually, I'm not even sure that I fully understand it now, but it's just going to make you sound a lot more natural. So when you have a noun with shita, I did something like soji shitanda, I did the cleaning. It just sounds a lot more natural if you say shitanda. And then, mada okotteru mitai. What does that mean?
Mada is still. Okotteru is be mad. Mitai, it seems as though.
Yeah, so mitai is really useful. When I started to study Japanese, I got really confused because the first thing I learnt was mitai, I want to see. So it's like, mada okotteru mitai. So I thought like a sentence where I want to see that person angry, but actually it does in
I
this...
guess it can mean a lot of different things.
It can mean a lot of different things. In this particular context, it means it seems like the person is angry. So is there any difference in pronunciation between it seems and to see?
No.
No, it's exactly the same. Yeah, so you just understand that through context. So yeah, okotteru mitai, ureshii mitai. That person seems happy, right? Yeah. Okay. What was next?
じゃあ、花でもプレゼントしたらどう? So じゃあ is well then. And then 花 is flower or flowers. でも、花でも.
Yeah, I guess that means something like even or even, right? So even flowers.
プレゼントしたら. So プレゼント is gift or present. したら do.
Yeah, if you do something.
If you do.
Yeah.
どう how about? So how about if you gifted her some flowers?
And this sentence, by the way, a friend of mine taught me this sentence. I said, hey, if you imagine I really made my girlfriend angry, what should I do? My friend said, hana demo presento shitara do. You could even give her something like flowers. So that demo, I think is, I don't quite understand what it means, but I think it's something to do with like something like flowers, or you could even give her flowers or something like flowers.
Yeah. How about like?
How about
I guess
like,
that would be,
something
that would
like
be,
flowers. Give us something like flowers.
Yeah, that would be the best translation.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. The next sentence is actually quite useful. What is that?
そうだね。そうしよう。そうだね. You're agreeing and you're saying, yeah, you're right. そうしよう. I'll do that.
Yeah. Now, そうしよう could be directly translated as let's do that. But if you're in this particular context, you're just talking about yourself. And so in English, there's no way to say let's when you're talking about yourself. But it just means, yeah, I will do that. That's a good idea. And then you continued.
彼女きっと喜ぶよ。
Mm.
彼女 girlfriend きっと
Absolutely or definitely or certainly. Without doubt.
Kind of like I bet.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I bet.
喜ぶよ will be happy. So I bet your girlfriend will be happy.
Yeah, so yorokobu means to be happy, and then your emphasizes that. And then in this context, it's like, yeah, I bet she'll be happy. So girlfriend is kanojo, boyfriend is
彼氏
great, wonderful. And then finally,
わかった。じゃあそうしてみるよ。わかった。Okay, I got it. じゃあ then そうしてみるよ。I'm gonna do just that.
did anyone ever buy you flowers when you were angry, Ami Sensei?
You know, thankfully, I don't think so. Thankfully, fortunately or unfortunately not.
Ami Sensei, you seem more like a chill personality. You don't seem like the kind of person who swings wildly out of control and turns into an angry devil. No.
Oh, somebody doesn't know me quite well just yet. You don't know me well enough.
You don't know me well enough,
No,
right?
I just hide it very well.
There you go.
In the podcast, I remain chill in the podcasts, but you know, I have my days.
What do you think, listeners? Do you think I should buy Ami Sensei some flowers just in case? You know, those times that maybe I made her angry and we didn't know.
Yeah. Just so I don't explode. But わかった。じゃあそうしてみるよ。
そうしてみるよ. Great. So I hope that made sense. Let's move on to some grammar explanations and maybe we can practice some of that grammar. Ami Sensei?
Sure. So the key piece of grammar is したらどう? So as we explained before, したらどう means how about doing so and so. したら literally means if you do, and どう means how about. The easiest way to make a sentence is to take a noun and then add したらどう to the end to recommend doing something. So for example, 勉強 means study. Add したらどう and you get 勉強したらどう? 勉強したらどう? How about studying?
People say that to me all the time.
No.
Why don't you study a bit more, Alex? Like, はい、わかりました. Anyway, have you got some more example sentences? So you're using the noun plus したらどう?
That's right.
How about trying something? Have you got any other examples like that?
Yes, sir. How about ハイキングしたらどう? How about going hiking? ハイキングしたらどう?休憩したらどう? How about taking a break? 休憩したらどう?
I've heard that before with Japanese friends, you know, like we're working on something together and then someone sighs because they're just tired and like, 休憩したらどう? How about taking a break? Great.
And 掃除したらどう? How about cleaning? Because you're filthy. No.
Yeah, I was going to say this has two meanings. Like the literal meaning is, how about cleaning? And the subtext is, you are incredibly dirty and filthy.
Like, you better.
This place is a mess.
I guess you have to be careful how you say this,
right.
You could sound, you know, a little like, I don't know, sarcastic and
right.
Yeah.
Why don't you try cleaning for once?
Like, why don't you, you know?
Right, why don't you clean? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but it's pretty simple, right?
Right.
So, yeah, now to take it up a level, you can take a verb, change it to the conditional form, and add do on the end to make a suggestion. So, let's look at some verbs. 食べる means to eat. Change that to 食べたら, and that means if you eat. Now add do on the end and you get 食べたらどう? How about eating? Or お寿司食べたらどう? How about eating sushi? Now, we don't have time to go into the conditional form in depth in this podcast, but there are a couple of conditional verb patterns you should know. As we said before, there are verbs such as 食べる, which change to 食べたら. 見る to see changes to 見たら. 映画見たらどう? How about watching a movie? But be careful with verbs that end with む. For example, 飲む, which means to drink. That would change to 飲んだら. So you could say 緑茶飲んだらどう? How about drinking green tea? 休む, which means to rest, changes to 休んだら. 休んだらどう? How about taking a rest? Now let's talk about how to respond to a suggestion. So let's say someone says to you, 休んだらどう? How about taking a rest? You can reply, そうだね、そうするよ. そうだね means something like, yeah, okay, or yeah, right, or I agree. And そうするよ means I'll do that. Now there are many other verbs and a few more rules and exceptions. But instead of getting too bogged down in grammar, let's drill what we've learned today. So, Alex-san,
はい。
you tell me a problem you're having and I will give you a suggestion.
Oh, actually, I'll tell you an actual problem I had yesterday. I was
Okay.
staring at the monitor too much for too long. And I got a really bad headache. So I was like, Ami Sensei, I've got a headache.
Okay, so in that case, you would say, 頭痛いな.
Okay, right. So, Ami Sensei, 頭痛いな.
薬飲んだらどう?
そうだね。そうするよ.
So, 薬 is medicine.
うん。
飲んだらどう? So, 飲んだら comes from 飲む, as we mentioned before, to drink, or in this case, take.
Yeah, right.
どう? How about? So, how about taking medicine?
For taking medicine, you use the verb nomu, right? Which means drink. But that's actually if you're having tablets or you're having medicine in liquid form, you always say nomu. Is that right? You wouldn't say, for example, kusuri or taberu. That's wrong, right?
Right.
So you just or can you say kusuri or toru? Is that wrong?
No, I hear that. I hear
Right.
that sometimes, yeah.
But usually, yeah, in
But
conversations,
usually you say, I think, nondara, even if you're not technically drinking
Right.
whatever it is.
Right.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So, Ami Sensei,
Right.
I've got another problem. Since you're now the agony aunt, this is the agony aunt part of the podcast. So, I'm going to give you all my problems here. So, let's
Give
say,
them to me.
let's say, so we've got a podcast coming up. I'm like, I can't think of anything. I can't come up with any good ideas.
Hey, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, right.
I'm just kidding. Then you could say, いいアイデアが思い浮かばないな。
いいアイデアが思い浮かばないな. That's a good one. Okay, so Ami Sensei, いいアイデアが思い浮かばないな.
少し休んだらどう?
そうだね。そうするよ. Yeah, that's good advice. I like that advice. Why don't you have a little rest? I like a little rest. Or as us Brits say, a sit down and a cup of tea. I think that's what's needed.
Oh, that's nice. That sounds nice.
Okay, Ami Sensei, here's another common problem because, I mentioned before that I'd been looking too long at my computer screen. So, 肩凝ってるな.
ああ。マッサージ受けたらどう?
そうだね。そうするよ. So, 肩 is shoulders. 凝ってる means to be like stiff, right? So I've got stiff shoulders. And then you said something slightly different, right? You said massage, which means massage. 受けたらどう? What does that mean?
受けたら、so 受ける it means to receive or to get.
To get a massage. Got ya.
Yeah, so how about getting a massage?
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, let's do another one. お腹が空いたな.
おやつ食べたらどう？
そうだね。そうするよ。Yeah, so お腹 is your stomach. すいたな is empty. I'm hungry, basically. And then
Yes.
what's おやつ?
おやつ is snack.
So why don't you eat a snack? And I'm like, yeah, sure,
うん
I'll try that. Okay, one last one, Ami Sensei. And
Okay.
this sometimes happens when I'm on holiday. 退屈だな。
映画見たらどう？
そうだね。そうするよ。So 退屈だな means I'm so bored.
Bored.
And then you said 映画見たらどう? How about watching a movie? And I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good idea. I'll do that.
Mhm.
Great. Well, I hope that all makes sense. Try your own example sentences, dear listener, because practice makes perfect. Or listen to the extra audio drill file that we'll add to the main podcast file. You can have a listen to that and practice by yourself. Right. Let's switch into Japanese mode, and I'm going to ask Ami Sensei some questions so you can practice your listening, and I can practice my Japanese too. So,
Okay.
じゃあ日本語モードに切り替えます。はい、
切り替え、カチッ。
カチッ。じゃあ、アミ先生、今は、
はい。
春だけど、
うん。
今年の夏休みの計画あるの？
今年の夏休み。ちょっと待って、アレックス。今まだ春になったところだから夏のこと全然考えてなかったけど。
そうね。
うん。だけど、夏、全く、やっぱり、まだね、なんかいろいろ、状況が状況だし。
そうだね。例の
コロナ？
コロナで、時間がすごくゆっくり、なんていう、流れてる感じですね。
なんか、まだ春かって感じ。だってもう、来月のこともわかんないし。
わかんないよね。そうそうそうそう。毎年はいつも何する？
やっぱり海が好きだから。
おー、いいね。
海に今年は行きたいな。去年は行けなかったから。
海はなんか、車で行ったら時間どのくらいかかるの？
今住んでるとこだとめちゃくちゃ時間かかる。
ああ、なるほど。
3時間くらいかな。
やっぱり日帰りはちょっと厳しいかな。
そうだね。
どっかに泊まって、
一泊とか、泊まってって感じだけど、今年行けるといいな。
いいね。
去年はね、行けなかったから。
で、ビーチに行ったら何する？
ビーチ行ったら、でも大体もずっと寝転がって過ごす。あとは、そうだな。海もそうだけど、やっぱあったかい時は、結構なんか、動物園とかそういうのが好きだから、動物園とかも行く。
お、いいね、いいね。
大人だけど、子供みたいな、子供が好きなところが好きだから。
ああ、いいね。どんな動物が好き？
動物はもう何でも好き。
ゾウさん？
ゾウもキリンも。
いいね。
だから、なんか変わったやつとかも、オカピとか。
オカピね。そうそう。僕の友達はね、ゾウを見たら笑う。彼女がなんか理由わかんないけど、ゾウの顔とかゾウの形がすごい面白がって、いつも笑ってる。で、一回みんなで、どこだったっけ、上野動物園みんなで友達と一緒に行って、で、ねえねえねえ、ゾウちょっと見ようよと言ってて、いいねいいね行きたい。で、ゾウに行ったらまた笑った。何が面白いの？だって鼻が超長いよと言って。
鼻？耳も
大
きいし、鼻も長いし。確かに。そう言われてみたら。
でも今コロナで多分動物園がやってるかな？多分やってないかな。
ねえ、こっちは一応やってるとこもある。でもやってるとこの方が多いんじゃないかな。
いいねいいね。
アレックスは何か計画というかあるかなって、夏休み。
アミ先生のように計画はないっす。
ね。
全くないです。
うん
やっぱり例のコロナで、やっぱり、あんまり計画はないな。でも、
あれでも、オリンピックってでもまだ開催され
オリン
るよ
ピックで、
ね。
今のところは、日本の政府は、オリンピックをやるつもり
ね。
みたい。
ね
でも、最近のニュースによると、海外の、なんていう日本語で、オーディエンス、聴衆
観客
は、なんていう、禁止という言葉がちょっと強いかもしれない。でも、やっぱり
もう国内だけ
国内の人だけですね。だから、
そうか。
なんだったっけ、観客
観客
そうそう。だから観客はやっぱり日本人のみですね。そう、日本人だけだよね。やっぱりコロナの対策によって、やっぱり、なんて
そっ
いう。
か、他の国から今入れないもんね。
そう、陸上の人しか来られないと思うね。
残念。
そう、だから多分ね、ほとんどの人はね、テレビで見ると思うね。そうそう。ちょっと日本語の質問だけど、なんていう、controversial in Japanese。対論的かななんていう、みんな、一応、オリンピックに対して、やるべきか、やらないべきかという、
賛否両論
なんて言いますか？
賛否両
論がかなり激しいね。だからもうやらない方がいいという人もいて、もうやった方がいいよという人もいる。だからかなり、そう、やっぱりコロナでもう無理じゃないという人が多いと思うね。
多いんだ。
そう。
そうか。残念ね。残念だけど、まあ、やるのか。そっか。
で、アミ先生、もう一つの質問があるんだけど、
どうぞ。
アミ先生はアメリカに住んでいるけど、どっちが好き？アメリカの夏か日本の夏？
まあ、それは、やっぱり日本の夏。
なるほどね。なんで？
だって、やっぱり花火大会がいっぱいあるし、
そうね。
まあ花火大会もあるし、お祭りとかいっぱいあるし、花火がやっぱり大好きだから、日本の夏、まあなんていうんやろ、蒸し暑いけど、でもそれに勝つぐらい楽しいことがいっぱいある。
そうね。僕だとやっぱり温度だけだと考えたら、やっぱりイギリスの夏の方がいい。
涼しそう。
涼しいね。で、日本の冬の方がいい。だけど、文化だったら、行事とか、やっぱり日本の夏の方が楽しい。祭りがあったり、花火大会があったり、あと、なんでしょう、まあ、いっぱい楽しいイベントがあるから、日本人もね、思いっきり夏楽しむ人だよね。
そう、あれ、ライブとかの野外フェス。
そう。でもやっぱりまだ2021年の夏は、もしかすると、盆踊りとかお祭りとか、花火大会とかは多分中止になるかも。
なりそう。
そう、残念ながらね。だから2022年楽しみにしてます。
楽しみにしてます。
イェーイ！
イェーイ！
Come on summer 2022.
Come on now.
Come on now. We just need a time machine. I just want to go into the future.
Yeah.
皆さん、今の話分かりましたか？頑張ってもう一回聞いてください。
Check it out.
Check it out. And now, it's that part of the podcast you've all been waiting for. That's right, it's Random Phrase of the Week. So I've been hearing this word recently. This word has something to do with how all our lives have changed and we're all working from home. And maybe some of you have online meetings and sometimes you turn off the video camera and you listen to the meeting and you're not really working. Well, with that kind of stuff in mind, I thought a good random phrase of the week would be saboru. So, Ami Sensei, what does saboru mean?
Saboru is like slacking.
Yeah, slacking.
Or like you could saboru a meeting or class, like to skip.
To
so
skip,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, so it can mean skip or slack.
Yeah, so yeah, to slack off, to cut class, to skip out. So you should be working, but you're not. And I may be wrong here, but I think the etymology of this word is sabotage, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
I just Googled it.
You just Googled it. ググってみる? ググってみる皆さん? Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it comes from sabotage.
Sabotage. So what you're doing is you're like sabotaging, well, it doesn't quite work in English. You're sabotaging the chance to work. But it basically, it just means you're being truant. You're not doing the work that you should do. So could we think of a couple of example sentences? So obviously, saboru just means to slack off. And the past tense would be sabotta. So, I just skipped it, right? So correct my Japanese, Ami Sensei. Could I say something like, 打ち合わせをサボった?
Perfect.
Woo! Hooray.
Yay.
So, 打ち合わせをサボった means, I skipped the meeting. I didn't bother to turn up. So, sometimes I have meetings that are scheduled with people who are, on the other side of the world. And my attendance isn't strictly necessary. So what I'll do...
So you're like thinking about skipping.
I'll think about skipping, yeah. But actually there's a really good system. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll record the meeting. And if it was important, but the meeting was at like 4:30 a.m. What I'll do is I'll watch the recording afterwards. So maybe I'm not exactly sabotta. Yeah,
No.
But yeah. Can you think of any other examples?
So I guess like if like in that situation, like if let's say you're thinking about skipping, you can say like 明日の練習 or 明日のミーティングサボろうかな.
That's a good one. 明日のミーティングをサボろうかな. Saboro on its own means like let's skip it or will, like we will or let's skip. But with kana means maybe I will skip. Yeah, saboro kana. So maybe I'll just like skip the meeting tomorrow. Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, so the interesting also is saboru. The way you write it is sabo is in katakana, and then the verb ending ru, saboru, is written in hiragana. So it's a bit of exotic hiragana, katakana action going on there, if you were interested. So there you go, dear listeners. Please use that saboru or sabotta. I skipped something, or saboro kana. Oh, hang on.
Uh-oh.
Someone's calling me.
Oh, I didn't know you can get multiple calls at once.
Yeah, so what it'll do, it'll say, hey, like drop the
Do you
call
want to take
you're
this
on
call or not?
and take this call. No, I just sabotta.
I guess.
So just to review, there's saboru is to skip, sabotta, I skipped it. So like meeting or sabotta, I skipped the meeting, or meeting or saboro kana, I think maybe I'll skip the meeting. So please use that, dear listeners. Okay, well, that's it for this week. If you enjoyed listening to the podcast and you have friends who you think would be interested, please tell them about us. Please tell the world about Learn Japanese Pod on social media so we can reach more people and help them to study and speak Japanese. And if you want to connect with us, there are several ways to do so. If you have a question, send us an email at info@learnjapanesepod.com. Also, we have a Discord server with an absolutely awesome community of friendly and supportive Japanese students. And just come and chat and hang out with other Learn Japanese Pod listeners and students of Japanese. Just go to learnjapanesepod.com and click on the Discord link at the top to join. And remember, dear listener, the secret to getting better in Japanese is consistent practice. All you need is just a little bit of listening and speaking every day, and that's all it takes. And we will support you on your journey to Japanese fluency. So, 皆さん、ポッドキャストを聞いていただきありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
日本語を頑張ってください。And we'll see you on the next podcast. またね。
またね。